Hey guys, I want to go over a few things with you so that we are all ready for next week, and a video was just easier than typing it all out. So first of all, starting next week, you're going to come back in slices of 3. So I will see a third of you at a time. The rest of you will be learning virtually at home. You have to tune in live every day when you are not in the building. Depending on your teacher, you might be tuning into the live meeting even when you're sitting in the building, because we have to be teaching both the people who are in person and the people who are at home at the same time. So we're kind of stuck to the computer even if you're here. So you need to have your Chromebook charged every day, probably with your charger. You need to, every day when you are at home, go to the Google Classroom, navigate to your Google Calendar, and find the link, okay, in your Google Calendar, not in the Google Classroom, my mistake. The link will always be on your Google Calendar. You need to make sure that it is Miss Cohagen and the correct hour and the correct date, okay? They're gonna be a repeating event, so you need to make sure you're on the right date or else nobody's gonna be in that meeting, okay? If you have issues logging in live, we have to take attendance in the first 5 minutes of the class period, so I can no longer wait for emails or wait till 3 to post attendance, and I can no longer accept emails for attendance. You have to log in virtually. You have to be there in the virtual live session, okay? When you do come to the building, every day you need to have your supplies and your sketchbook. For now, for my Art 1 students, my 6th and 7th hours, you need to have your your sketchbook and your ultra fine point Sharpie every day. Probably your ruler as well and an eraser as well, okay? Every day, sketchbook, ultra fine point Sharpie when you come to the building and when you're ready to work at home virtually, okay? You need to have your stuff ready. My Art 2 students, my 1st and 2nd hour, every day when you come, you need to bring your sketchbook, your set of graphite pencils, and your ruler, and your eraser, and your sharpener if you need it, okay? So Art 2, 1st and 2nd hour, you guys are bringing your graphite materials and your sketchbook. Art 1, 6th and 7th hour, you are bringing your ink and your sketchbook, okay, for our Zentangle and pattern practice. I have organized our Google Classrooms. I'm using my 1st and 2nd one as an example for this video, but the 6th and 7th ones are simple. In this classwork section, you will find all of your materials that you will need or new materials that are made. They're going to show up here. So this BBCHS miscellaneous stuff is kind of random things, but this is where how to find our live link in your Google Calendar, okay? This video will tell you where to get to your, tell you how to get to your calendar and how to get to our live link. If you haven't been able to get into the calendar, you need to watch that video and you need to figure it out, okay? Everyone's been able to get in except a few kids, so please watch that video so you can be there and be counted as present. We have to record our live classes and post them every day now. That means I will screen record my whole class. Your recorded lessons will be here with the date, okay? So if you missed a class, you can go back to the date and watch it. You'll have a section called Instructional Content. This will be where all of the instruction is. So the slide presentations about certain things, compositional strategies, all of those things. At the top is going to be your assignments. Your digital sketchbook will always be right there, and that will be a changing due date, okay? So that'll be the same thing, and you submit that multiple times. The assignment calendar is a material that you can check, and I will update it as we move through the year, but this says what slide of your digital sketchbook it should be, what it should be, and then the date that it was due. Okay, so I have this for both of my classes. Even 6th and 7th has that same thing, okay? All the assignments, instructional content, recorded classes, and then other things. So I have organized that to find, so it's a little easier to find than the streams that just get, you know, busy and are hard to navigate. Okay, so next week, you are all tuning into the live sessions virtually. If you are at home and if you are in the building, you are bringing your Chromebook, your charger, headphones that are compatible with your Chromebook so you can watch technique videos, headphones, again, that are compatible with your Chromebook, okay? And then your sketchbook and your ink if you are in Art 1, and your graphite if you are in Art 2. Please email me if you have any questions and concerns, and please remember that nothing that happens in school is more important than your mental health and your physical well-being. So we're all going to take it one day at a time and have each other's backs and be patient and understanding with each other as we navigate this new change and work together to get through this school year. Okay, so please email me if you have any questions, and I hope this video kind of gives you some information on where to find your stuff and how to be ready for school next week. Bye.